everyone. Aloha. This is Jason Schwartz, your host. We're here at the Neutral Zone. Welcome. Hey, everyone. We are seeing this year, 2024, race through. We are here at KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. Maui Public Access Television, which means you have access to come here and create your own shows. And it's a public service. You become a producer, you get a little training, you have a studio here, there's camera equipment. And I have the good fortune of being here since way back when on the side of the camera here. Some people think of me as media. I tried to do things in the community all these years, and people were confused. Who is this guy? He sings. He talks about renewable energy. He's all confusing. I even ran for politics way back when, even currently. Stories. We can write a book. I have a great guest today. Great in many ways, but the most important thing, Linda Puppolo is just a wonderful person. I've known you how long? 30 years almost.
Yeah,
Isn't
around
that
30
incredible?
years, yeah.
Way back when I was just a civilian, and I guess a young political candidate, 1992, me and Nicolananda and Sally Raisbeck and Joe Bertram were the four Greens. There was a Green Party starting. And I never thought of politics, but people said, you have all these ideas about green and all my Maui arts and music. So and in those early days, I saw there was this woman around. That was, were you already friends with Nicolananda at the time?
Yeah, I was friends for almost 40 years with Nikki because
Wow.
I lived in Haiku for quite a long time.
I see. And you were just always awake and aware and active, and I just liked you. And time's gone on, and for a while, we're here at Akaku Maui Community, used to be Maui Community TV, now they call it media. That means the world has grown around them, and they better incorporate all these new technologies. But the basics are, we are a public access station, and Linda was here working, and I guess you'd say you were an executive here, right?
I was the administrative director.
Director.
The wonderful Terry Roberts now has that job.
Wow.
But I trained her. I was administrative director for about 5 years.
And, wow. And now Linda is the executive director of the Maui AIDS Foundation. I was walking to see some friends playing music, and there, incognito, with hat and glasses, it was just that kind of day, there was Linda Puppolo sitting in it. When we started talking, I realized what a terrific guest you'd be for the show. What's the most important things to you now? What have you been doing in your role there and out in the community? I know personal life and stuff, whatever you want to share. That I just have always seen that you're always doing something important.
Well, pro-people. That's the most important thing to me. I'm pro-people. When I was younger and my children were in Haiku school, I was a PTA president there PTSA president for all the way through, like 6 years. Then I was the liaison at, what's the school in, I can't think of the name of it.
Where is it? Makwao?
Makwao, yeah. The intermediate school in Makwao. Kalama, that's it.
Is that right?
Yep.
I think so.
Kalama Intermediate. I was the PCNC there for a few years, and then I've just been in nonprofits for a long, long time. I was a clinic manager of Planned Parenthood. Wow. I was the executive director of the Pacific Cancer Foundation, and I worked for the county of Maui for 4 years as the workforce development executive director during COVID. Very challenging times.
Wow.
So I love my role now. I like the organization is just, the services that it provides are just so significant for the community.
I'm blind. I know about AIDS, been here a long time. Where does the world stand on AIDS from what you see?
Well, the Maui AIDS Foundation started as a grassroots community organization. It was even volunteer at the beginning. It's been in existence for 37 years. And all along the years, everybody has been fighting to just get services, because when somebody has AIDS, if somebody has HIV, they don't have to get AIDS if they're monitored and their viral load is monitored. So what happens is, along the way, they developed all these different drugs, some in the early days more toxic than others. The ones now are very good. And we're hoping that we have no new AIDS cases by 2030, no new AIDS cases.
Wow, that's like tomorrow.
We've only had one this year.
Wow, yeah. That's fantastic.
But we still take care of all the people that have HIV. You know, they don't all have.
What's the difference mean? Just quick.
HIV is a human papilloma virus, and it is the virus, and then that becomes the disease. It becomes an autoimmune disease, which is called AIDS.
Because of something going on in the body, and that's what they're working on getting.
There's something going on in the body, right? And so what they do now is they have drugs that, different types of drugs that people can take. You can live a normal life now with AIDS. I mean, not with just AIDS, but with HIV. You can live a normal life. You can, they have a drug called PrEP, pre-exposure prophylactic. And what it is it's a drug that you can take, and you can have a normal healthy sex life.
Come a touch closer. Okay. That's good. You're good.
You can have a normal healthy sex life, and without giving it to somebody else if you take that drug.
Wow, that's great.
And they have PEP. Like, say for some reason you exposed yourself to HIV and you were really worried about it. If you get that PEP within 48 hours, then you can prevent getting HIV. So the drugs are so significantly advanced now. Now, there are a couple of cases around the world that they have found that those people were it's completely undetectable in them, but they haven't actually said there's a cure for it yet. It's becoming undetectable. Undetectable means you can't pass it on. So that's what's going on.
That's a great thing. Undetectable in this example means you can't pass it on. That's great news. Just in hearing those few words, to a civilian like me, my ear's always listening for things.
I'm pretty an administrative person there, so I'm not the medical person there. I just want to make that clear. I'm very administrative.
I was going to say,
I write the grants, and I oversee the organization, but I am not a medical professional.
No, but the overseeing of the organization is a skill. I wish I had the capacity to have you come work at what I'm doing. Well, we're trying to.
We'll keep talking about it.
Yes, we will. But I can tell you, you mentioned that you have lots of services and you really do a lot. Give us a little bit of the smorgasbord.
Okay, well, we take care of AIDS, HIV AIDS patients, and if they have the disease, we have housing, we have a food pantry, we have case management so they can talk, we have mental health services.
Wow.
And we're looking at support groups coming up in the near future.
You don't have anyone in-house? You send them to different people?
No, we have people in-house.
Do you?
Yeah, we have a doctor. Yeah, his name is Dr. Brian Chin, one of the most wonderful individuals I've met on earth. Wow. He's the sweetest, most gentle, most sweet guy in the world. And he cares so much about his patients. And we have a lab. We test for all STIs. We test. STIs in general are sexually transmitted infections. It's really, really important people test regularly. Even if they don't think they were exposed, if they've had sex and unprotected sex, people should test regularly, because STIs can hide for years and turn into disease later. 70% of all head and neck cancer is caused from HPV, which is an STI.
Holy moly.
And hepatitis causes liver cancer.
Say that again slower. 70%?
70% of head and neck cancer, which is like pharyngeal, esophageal, in your face, your jaw, is caused by HPV. Which is a type of sexually transmitted infection.
So people that anyone could go to you then to get the test?
Oh, anybody can come. We're a free clinic.
And cost at all?
There's free clinic.
Free clinic is pretty cost-free.
Yeah, for cost-free. And
Wow.
so when you have, right now they're vaccinating young people, junior high kids, and young people between 18 and like 40. They're vaccinating for HPV, which, like I said, causes cervical cancer. It can cause infertility. It can cause head and neck cancer. It's a very, very undetectable. There aren't really, you can't tell you have it a lot of times. You don't know. It's asymptomatic, and it just hides. And it's really important to not get that, if you have STIs, it's really important to get them treated.
And wow, so they offer that shot as what it is at school? They offer it as an option, or they?
Well, they don't. Children are supposed to get. They don't offer it at school, no.
Okay.
But children are supposed to get vaccinated for HPV to be able to go to school.
It's all different since I have no kids, so I don't know any of these.
And a lot of people are so paranoid about vaccination, but this one's a really important one because it's a very asymptomatic disease, and things lie dormant for long periods of time, and the ramifications come years later.
Gotcha. We are here on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, with Linda Puppolo, the executive director of the Maui AIDS Foundation. I'm Jason Schwartz, your host. Normally I'd take a break, but what? We take no breaks here. This is public access TV. I may or may not stay here in this studio because suddenly we have to find donors to support us here. And as public access, they don't. Well, no one's promoting it except us. So, I get small viewership. I'm up on YouTube and up on my own thing, MauiNeutralZone.com. But boy, if you look back, I have 1,000 shows or more over these years. And I've been talking about so many different things. You're one of those people I can speak to who understands how things all fit together. That this is an integrated action plan, that when we and nonprofits work together with the community and the world, unbelievable things can happen in a good way. What you just talked about is super important, so I'm glad that we're letting everyone know that if you have unprotected sex, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go get tested for your own benefit. That's great.
And we're fully confidential. Nobody has to know. It's really easy to get in and out. Nobody has to know anything about it. Everything is completely confidential and protected by HIPAA.
Do you find that your experience at your other nonprofits, is it similar? Is this unique? Anything that...
It's funny, I feel like every single position I've held has brought me to being, made me better at what I do now. So yeah, I guess I could say I built on it, right? A lot of the commonalities are that nonprofits need funding, and I'm a good grant writer. I know how to write grants, and I care about people, so I push myself to write grants to make sure we're funded. I did that for every single organization I ever worked for.
What a terrific skill. Maybe I can, through you, because I know you're busier than 10 beavers, but I know that you may know good grant writers on this island. I hope you do, because, that's been, in my example, having no good grant writer and someone, it's like going into real estate and doing a tax deferred exchange with people that don't know just how serious they are about all these different pieces, and it's got to go crew qualified, all those things. So it is a major skill.
Writing grants, it's not just writing grants. Anytime you have a program or the way I look at it is it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle. And every time I have a general plan on how to put that jigsaw puzzle together to make it work. And every time I write a grant, it fits another piece in the jigsaw puzzle. So that's how I kind of look at it as a whole,
Well, it's interesting. I look at what I'm doing the same way as a puzzle, but I've never done any grant writing. When I the Commission on Culture and the Arts. I forgot who it was. One of the things they said to me, we like what you're doing, but we're funding demand things directly for the public. We don't have money this year for someone like you. And so I kind of strayed away from that. But grant writing and sponsorship and doing something for the community, I haven't. Can you do things that are intangible? Only if you have tangible people that will do it. I always wonder about that.
You know, you got to look for, you have to have an idea that's pretty solid. I was lucky when I worked at Akaku, for instance. I was working with a wonderful girl named Cynthia Tomei. And she was a great grant writer, and I was a decent grant writer. So we put our talents together, and that's how Project Y-Beam happened. For you know, the program they run for the kids. It started with us. But it's so gratifying to see them continue it and have the good energy with people like Kat Tracy. You know, she's just so wonderful.
She terrific?
She's just so wonderful. What a good move on Jay's part to put her in that position, because she's just wonderful. So it's just, you have to have an idea. You develop the idea. I make this huge task list of every single thing it's going to take to write that grant. What do I need? I need expenses. I need this and that. And then I start checking them off. And then that's how it starts developing.
And fitting them in your jigsaw puzzle financial statement to give them and show them what you need and why.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I've got to say, at Maui AIDS Foundation, I am the most fortunate girl in the world because I have the best bookkeeper on the island. Her name is Kimberly Craig, and she runs my finance department, and she's incredible. She's just the best. There's nobody like her. She cares. She's committed, and, you know, she's just efficient down to the penny. And I don't have to worry because I know whatever she does is perfect. Because she cares. You know, she cares a lot.
So what's a typical day look like there for the clinic?
We have two sides. You walk in the front door. We're at the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg building in Wailuku, in between Maui Realty and Subway.
Maui, or across the street from the Minute Stop.
Right, across the street from Minute Stop. Right, we're right there. So when you walk in the door, we're on the bottom floor. If you want to go to your left, ring the doorbell, and they'll come to the door, and then they'll ask what you need. And some days we have walk-in testing. Some days we have people that come and just that have appointments. We also, on the other side of 101, is where you come in and you get, you know, the receptionist takes care of you. But on the other side, 102, they take you over there, and we actually have a syringe exchange program, a one-for-one syringe exchange. So anybody, which prevents another disease that we're looking to try to eradicate by 2030, no new cases by 2030, which is hepatitis.
Yeah.
Hepatitis causes liver cancer. It is the largest cause of liver cancer. And it's really important to not have, you know, exchange needles. So we have all they have to do is bring a needle in, and we'll give them a needle. They bring 10 needles in, we give them 10 needles. We also have food pantry on both sides for case management, for syringe exchange, case management for people that are, you know, are just homeless, case management for people that have HIV, or people that come and test.
So homeless people that don't have any kind of HIV or
right, we take care.
Food pantry.
We take care of them. We do want them to test, however. We would like
good.
them to test.
We would like them. Food pantry. That would be a food pantry that I imagine not everybody would know about.
No, we have a wonderful food pantry. It is we get drops from Maui Food Hub. We're with the USDA program at Maui.
Good produce.
Yeah, good produce.
Wow.
We are with the USDA program through the Maui Food Bank, so we have good protein. So we focus on healthy, because the more healthy an individual is, the more able they are to fight a disease.
Well, that's good. I mean, oftentimes the food pantries have things that, I don't want to say they're all, but mostly when I've looked there, I've given most of the things away because I wouldn't eat them. But organic stuff as much as you can, and things that are substantive. How do homeless people cook? I just do not know what.
They have all kinds of ways of doing things. I generally, when we go buy protein, if we buy they like the beanie weenies, the little cans of beanie weenies. That's one of their favorite.
Oh, those.
Because they have the flip can. They don't even need a can opener for it. So yeah, a lot of times they'll eat that type of beans. They'll eat that right out of the can, And then there's always they there's this little they can put the water in and they can put the thing
really?
under. There's all kinds of little stoves that aren't really stoves. There's all kinds of ways to cook
Do you
them
have a
up.
pulse on the homeless situation, you think? I mean,
It's much worse since a fire. Much, much, much worse. Our pantry is extremely busy. We go through huge amounts of produce and food. And we have hygiene. We also give out hygiene supplies to people, And if somebody comes in and they really, really need help, we'll even warm something up for them, We spend a lot of time trying to get people where they need to go. So we have a case manager that would, a navigator that would do an intake and decide what this person needs. It may not be us that they need. We have a referral program with all the other nonprofits, so we would send them to the right nonprofit.
Let me ask you a question that maybe the mayor wants to know, so I'm looking both sides to see. Is there any secret housing anywhere?
No.
Housing.
Not only is housing bad, but we have a housing program for HIV clients, and they've really hurt our clients desperately. When FEMA came in and they started telling landlords they can raise the rent, and it made the limits so hurt the program so desperately that some people have actually lost their housing because of FEMA.
Well, I've heard that so commonly, or they had 6 months, you can't throw someone out. Then all kinds of another round of people being thrown out on the street.
Well, HIV is a protected status, so they can't just get rid of somebody, But often the landlords that we pay don't know our clients are HIV because it's HIPAA. It's protected.
And so they're suddenly surprised. Is that what happens to them?
No, they just don't. The client would have to say it was okay for us to.
Oh, to disclose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there still a heavy prejudice? I mean, because I'm not, I don't know.
Super heavy
Really?
prejudice. Super
Really?
stigma. Yeah, super stigma.
AIDS, after all these years, after all you just told me, and all the controls.
Well, people don't know. You didn't know that people
No.
can't
Well, that's why I
people
guess
don't
it's
have
so
to be able to
important.
transmit it anymore. I mean, it's education, really.
Yeah, well, thank you, world. I hope that you will share this show with everyone you know. Wow. We have an election coming up, and although you and I are political, you're just like me in that you integrate everyone into a love basket. We're a community, and I hope that as these, I want to say weeks go on and months, this is a few days, how many? Maybe a week or something before the actual voting thing. Any predictions?
I can't speak to it as the director of the Maui AIDS Foundation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I can't advocate for any any person in office of any kind.
No, I'm not thinking that.
But
I'm thinking about this show got developed, and we weren't allowed to be political on the air because I have to give every candidate in the race equal time, blah, blah, blah. So values. So when you look back at Maui Neutral Zone shows, you're going to see all the things that make a community better and all the things that I want to introduce and people.
Well, there is an organization called the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. It is full of nonprofits. If anybody wants to know anything about services that they need, they can go on that website, Maui Nonprofit Directors Association, and they they can go into members list, and it has all our websites, and you can poke through and learn all about all the different nonprofits and what they do.
Well, the reason I said political, and even though it sounds, you heard me say housing. I don't know if you've had, because of the different hats you've worn and traveled throughout some of the nonprofit communities, knowing the people at the nonprofit association, I really don't know. All this time, I've never really been approached and never really thought to get there. I maybe could.
Well, it's a
stick my head
professional
through the door.
organization for nonprofit directors is what the function of it is. So they don't really go out and lobby in the community. What they do is they give a place for us to post our website and us to work together on issues. It's more of an internal kind of thing, so they don't really work directly with the community, the nonprofits do.
Well, and what I was looking to do was linking of nonprofits in what I was doing. So maybe I should speak to that group about it.
Well, if you have a nonprofit, you can become a member.
Well, and I remember in, I want to say 1993, whenever that year was that the Cultural Center was opening, the politics dominated what I was trying to do, where you may have, I booked the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day at the Cultural Center because of the feeding frenzy that all the nonprofits and different groups did, gobbling up dates throughout the year. So we looked at the calendar, and there was this glaring thing called nothing on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So I booked it all, inside, outside, Schaefer Gallery. And then when I went to a hotel, and the general manager said to me, well, I wanted to meet you because I want to let the other directors of the hotels know that, I don't know what you're trying to pull. The mayor's office had given verbal approval to a group that wanted to do a alcohol-free event, First Light.
I remember that.
And how could they? I had the whole thing booked. And they wouldn't talk to me. It was like, so I had to call First Light in Boston. That's where you probably remembered from when you were a little girl.
Yep.
Well, First Light.
Born in Attleboro, Massachusetts.
And I'm a Brooklyn, New York. So it's a really interesting quality, an East Coast quality. You know, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just our quality. I like being on time, and because you have a very similar, I can see your brain work like me. He makes it easy to talk to you. But I keep wondering, with all these things, I said housing, do we have any kind of solutions? Is there a way to declare emergency?
I don't know what to do. I'll tell you one thing that was really frustrating for us. We had somebody call us right after the fire that was very interested in helping our clients. And they gave us 10 mobile, they were just tiny homes. And they gave us 10 of them. They were worth about $124,000 each.
Wow.
But I didn't bring them here. They gave us the freight and everything to the Kahului Harbor. But I did not bring them here because there's nowhere to put them, because it's not legal to put something on wheels up in Maui County. So I went to the council people and I asked them, this is something that's really, you can just bring in, but nobody really at this point, there's so much pressure not to bring in mobile units. And it is really, they're bringing in modular units now, but with no wheels, right? But with the wheels, you can move things from place to place. So I don't know why it has to be that way, but we never did. We still have the donation, but we have nowhere to put them.
You can't take them off the wheels afterwards because then it's an illegal structure, right?
Right.
It's approved.
Yeah.
And you can't have it on wheels because it's not allowed.
And they said, well, you probably get away with it for 3 years. You could have it. But I'm not doing something for 3 years. These people that are giving it to us are giving it to us these are brand new, beautiful units, self-contained and very futuristic. I'm not going to take advantage of the donor when I know that at some point they may not be allowed anymore, and then what?
Who gives those kind of rules? The council?
Yeah, the council, it's in the charter and the council, and yeah.
Has it been reviewed?
I think they're not there yet. I think they're working on it. I think desperately they're looking for ways to do housing in Maui County, but I don't think they're there yet. I just don't. They're overwhelmed. If you go to the county to do anything, even our grants, you'll know that every single department has huge vacancies. Huge vacancies. You know, like Department of Human Concerns, I feel sorry for them. They have, like, the grant management division, they have a position for 4 to 6 people, and they only have 2 people in there. And it's been a year since they've only had 2 people in there.
And they have training. How can you train people if you're working 24/7, huh?
It's
How
not
do you
even.
do that?
I don't know. I don't know what the problem is with the hiring, but it's just not happening.
So when you don't get the work done, what happens? I mean, I always.
Okay, we don't get our money. That's the nonprofits suffer.
So it's like the train is slowing down, but that's our whole county.
That's what's happening right now.
So where are we going?
That's what's happening now. I have 221,000 with the county that they can't seem to get to read the grant, and I had it provisoed to me from the county council, and they can't seem to get it read so I can get a contract. And it's October, the end of October, and I should have had this. The thing was signed in June. It's been a long time. So and it has to be spent by June 30th. So it's an impossible situation, and that I'm not mad at anybody.
No, but it's impossible.
It's an impossible situation. They're understaffed. They can't seem to find staff. Even the police department is understaffed. I mean, everywhere is understaffed, and the job. I was in workforce development. The unemployment rate is only like 4% right now. So but how do you can't bring anybody in?
Because there's nowhere to live.
Because there's nowhere to live, right? Okay, so you can't bring people in, and then the people that live here, some of them maybe not qualified to do these positions or don't want to do them for the pay that they are.
There we are.
And it's just a big giant mess right now.
I don't know if this is an appropriate thing to say. Has anyone tried to incorporate some of the new AI things to help accelerate some of the processes in prep for what they do? Is that what helpful?
Well, no, a
Could
grant.
something read the
We
grant
write the grants
and give them a summary, or find the highlights that they need to address to speed the process?
I don't know. I'm
watch
scared of
these
that.
things-
I'm afraid of that personally,
okay.
because
I've
these
seen
grants
this
have
recently.
these grants have specifics to Maui County, and I'm not sure that AI has specifics to Maui County. I mean, you can't even, if you go to CDC or you go to any organization across the country to get statistics about Maui County, there aren't any.
I was more thinking of the statistics surely are unique. I understand that. But I keep wondering if the reason that you just said it in such a nutshell, people they're not offering enough pay and enough incentive for people to go to work when they really don't have to. And as the services are going down, it's a snowball that's getting worse.
It is.
So how are we going to be able to serve? I don't know.
Well, and they're telling me.
You guys know. If anyone knows.
The county is telling me, Human Concerns is telling me that they're going to have drastic cuts to our budgets next year. What they don't get is that we're doing work that they would be doing that's not going to be done because they won't give us the money to do them. How can we do it with no money? Right?
Well, that seems like a logical thing. Who do you address that to?
I address it
Mayor?
I've talked to the council. I've talked to Lori Tusako. I haven't gotten to the mayor yet. Someday soon, I'm going to talk to the mayor
Lori
about my ideas.
Tusako, who's in Human Concerns, she's now somewhere else?
No, she's in Human Concerns, yeah.
I was on a couple of committees here and there and going to meetings with homeless. After a while, I was like, still nothing is getting done. Well,
and then you look at property taxes. The money, where's the money going to come from if tourism is down 25%? And you look at where are they going to get the money from if it's not coming from tourism, which was the economic engine? And they're trying like heck to diversify, but it takes time to do that. And nobody wants property taxes raised. So where's the break? Where's the money going to come from?
Well, again, I'm not going to go off on a side thing, but remember, I wanted to promote art, music, and culture of these islands to the world and take money from that to help supplement development of technologies to accelerate solutions that are self-sustainable.
I just brought $81,000 in from AmeriCares, which is an organization worldwide. I brought $81,000 in a grant, and what that grant does is it gives us money to be able to help people get their cars fixed so they can get their registration, so they can get their safety checks. It gives us money to be able to give transportation to people that their car's broken, they can't get to work or they can't get to the doctor's appointments. And it has fuel cards if they just can't make it through the month and they don't have enough money for
Are these for
fuel.
People that have AIDS?
These
No,
are
for
for HIV.
HIV.
People that are in need, stress at a certain income level have to be, a certain income level to be eligible, and syringe exchange.
I said, wow. Well, I hope those of you that are in those predicaments realize there's another lifeline. That's beautiful.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm writing grants that bring money in from the mainland. During the fires, our organization actually generated $260,000 in supplies in 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of the fire.
Wow. With grants, independent.
No, we sent an email out into Ethernet, and everybody's donated through Amazon and sent us the boxes. The only reason we stopped doing it is because the big boxes started coming in from FEMA and stuff. So
I see.
But at the beginning, we brought thousands of boxes of diapers and distributed them all the hubs.
Wow.
But that we only had capacity to do that for a few months. Because we're busy, we have to take care of everybody. So we didn't continue it because it was being done by somebody else. We don't like to duplicate.
Understand. Well, as I'm talking to you, my mind just keeps opening up to. So you've seen. How do I say this delicately? FEMA and EPA have rules and regulations and scope of what they do. When we had that fire in Lahaina, never mind where and how it started or whatever, they came in, and I imagine the Federal Emergency Management Association said to the governor and the mayor, it's our way or the highway. We're the money, and we are the rules.
See,
EPA, I'm bringing it up again. But you're talking about grants and money, and we've seen things here that go on past election time. So that's why I talk the way I do, because I'm not political, but I am a guy that says, hey, wait, you're clearing the housing there, you're scooping up so much of the soil, and you're putting it in Olawalo temporarily. What's a year temporarily? And potential to destroy the reef and all this when there are things. I've had them on I have 8 shows about Olawalo, where there are solutions to get this stuff off island, handled, no cost, low cost, and I just wonder why they don't do that. And then I get back, someone that did research said, the mayor, he's not stupid. The guy's a former judge. He knows he's not. And the governor, these people, someone's controlling the funds.
I don't believe that.
Well, when you talked about FEMA taking and raising.
I think they encourage people to get the most amount that they could get for their housing. They were encouraging landlords to do that. I don't think they really thought through how it would destabilize the rental market.
Yeah,
I think they made a mistake. I don't think they did it with a power intent.
No, I don't think power intent. I'm thinking
they made an error.
So how do we undo that? I mean, that's my concern.
The rental market is now destabilized. There's no doubt about that.
And we can't bring people from the mainland to help because we don't have anywhere to house them. And we don't have enough people that are working in the jobs to serve us to even keep the programs we got going on.
But I will say you got to give UH credit because anybody can go to school for free right now to get educated to get these jobs.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. They have huge scholarship programs at UH right now for people that need jobs, that need help, that are not making a lot of money and want to improve their situation.
Don't have to be fire related.
No.
The only reason I'm looking at that is, here we are. We're here to save the day. You've already been doing what you did, obviously, after the fire, is fantastic. Thank you. And like you say, there's more to be done, and it's over our heads financially. So all of you out there who are listening that want to give, we want to hear from you. All those that you think that you want to be learning and growing to be part of the solution, we want to hear from you. Or you can go to these agencies directly, or you can, either way. I am just always amazed when I speak to a guest. You are like a fountain of not only information, you are open and real.
Just pay attention. Mm-hmm. I just pay attention because ultimately my goal is to help people. I'm a people.
You're a Puppolo. Yeah.
I am that.
You've, I'm just looking at the clock and I'm seeing we have like 12 minutes. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff. I always want to make sure that when I have a guest, the things that are important to you, you can hear. I'm jumping. I'm talking about issues that aren't Maui AIDS Foundation, but you're an outside-the-box kind of person who understands there are no lines between us and them. There is no us and them. We're a community, especially on an island.
So if you have an idea, if you have a little bit of money, if you have an idea, if you have whatever you have to help the people that are helping the community, which is especially the nonprofit community, whatever nonprofit it is that you love, that you really want to help. And there's a million dogs and cats out there right now with no homes. There's so much going on. The fires disrupted us terribly. It was really hard. It's been hard on the community in general. Help, just give a little, if $5, give help where you can. That's all my message is to people. Whatever you can do, do it.
Yeah, that does mean you. And I had a song. Let's take a minute break, and I'll breathe, and maybe we'll think of what we want to talk about next. There's a song that I heard that was written by a guy named David Frazier. You may know him only in that. I think I saw that he was the MEO Volunteer of the Year. I don't know if it was because he wrote this song or he wrote this song because for the occasion. But he has a song called Be the One. And
that's nice. I'm not surprised. MEO is a fantastic organization.
MEO, Maui Economic Opportunity. Let me see if I understood. That was way back, Joe Suki, who passed it to Gladys Bisa.
There was somebody else in there, too. I can't remember who it was, but
there?
Yeah. It was Gladys. Yeah, Gladys really.
And then Gladys passed it to someone else.
She passed it to, what was his name? He was the managing director for a while of the county. I can't think of his name right now, but it was him, and then that got passed to Lynn McNeff, then it got passed to Debbie Kabibi.
Yeah, and it's everybody's overworked. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they could tell that same story, that they need to find help. Is it just...
there's a lot of jobs out there, and there are job programs. There's a lot of money in job programs. Employers Options is working with MEO on placing people in training, in internships, paid internships for training. When I was at Workforce Development, we took 40 people through paid internships. Many of them have upper level jobs now compared to where they were. I tried to get some training on Molokai so people could actually stay on Molokai and have jobs that were remote jobs. So there's a lot going on in the world right now as far as remote work, and Maui needs to bring the biggest thing is right now Maui needs to bring whatever they can in from the continent. Whatever resources we can bring in from the continent, whether it be job training, whether it be jobs, whether it be donations, whether it be grants. We need to focus on not competing against each other here in Maui County, but to look across and see what we can bring in from there.
That's exactly what my vision has been for all these years. It's so funny. my local hero way back when, who spoke so I didn't have to be the outsider, was Pundy. And once Pundy had a stroke, it was like I lost my champion. And
pretty incredible guy.
He was a good guy. Anyway, but now is now, and all these great ideas still can be.
Oh, let me tell you
now.
what's coming up for Maui AIDS Foundation. Okay, so in November, I believe it's on the 22nd, 21st, I can't remember.
Okay.
I'll look on our website, Transgender Day of Remembrance. And we will be doing that at Pro Arts. Please look on our website. I apologize, Tiare, that I do not have that date with me. And it is going to be, they're going to show Lovey Love, which is a play first, and then they're going to show, they're going to do a celebration of life for the transgender people that have been killed across the world for just being transgender.
What is the event called?
Transgender Day of Remembrance. And
it's on your website and probably Pro Arts as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
MauiAids.org.
Mm-hmm. MauiAids.org. Then on December 1st, we're doing World AIDS Day at the Pro Arts Theater as well. We're having a concert and a celebration of life again for AIDS victims that have passed, and poo-poos and good music and just a day of community.
Well, we were going to do a presentation today that's going to wait, but I've talked to an artist who came to me and wanted to give, and so coming soon. All these things that I'm talking about money coming from everywhere, and however, there are a lot of howevers and how we're going to do it. And I really want to, I can't even put it into specific words. You've been such an important part of our community.
Thank
in
you.
all the roles you've played. And, you know, I know people, when I mentioned Linda Puppolo, oh, I know her. Boy, she has really helped me. Boy, she is really, what a nice person. She is very aware you are leaving footprints.
Thank you. I hope so.
Now, with all this experience, this sounds like we've seen it happen in different people. Do you have a feeling for ever wanting to be in politics, to get in that seat there at a council? Or
I've thought about it, definitely. I've definitely thought about it. I don't think it's in the cards for me right now, but I do have a lot of friends that are in politics that I give my opinions to, whether they like it or not. Oh, and I want to also say Maui AIDS Foundation is doing Pride Week, not just one day of Pride. Last year we had 2,500 people on Market Street celebrating Pride. We're doing a Pride Week, which includes a hike and a barbecue and a brunch and just all kinds of fun. We're going to close Market Street again and do a big drag show and show and concert and
this is for everyone, right?
This is for everyone. It's free.
Fantastic.
Free events. Yeah.
But I know, I remember years ago.
So stay tuned.
Wild Banana Gallery, way back. You know, living along on Maui, you can see the same locations over time, changing to different things. That was way back around the turn of the century. You know, these things were here, but they didn't have the kind of openness and support they do now. And your work is so valuable and so important in involving people outside of the gay community and making transgenders not, you know, I mean, it's such an area that's all, for, at least for me, it's an area of growth. You know, I've had little personal experience with transgender individuals, at least as far as I know, right? But I know that I've heard many stories, very close and personal. You know, my granddaughter is now my grandson, a lot of that. I hope the world will start loving each other. And here, after this election, please, table your weapons. I hope all of us
Yeah, I don't
learn
believe
to
in
live
weapons.
together.
I'm with you on that one.
I am just like always wondering where the world is going, and with our eyes being so aware and open, why we still make so many really bad mistakes.
You know, somebody asked me, why am I at the Maui AIDS Foundation? Why that organization? And I said, well, it was an opportunity, and it goes back into my history. And they said, what do you mean your history? I said, well, when I was in high school, a lot of my friends came out, and I lived in the Bay Area in California, and a lot of my friends came out, and I, quickly learned about what it was all about, and went to all the marches with them in Honolulu. Not in Honolulu, in San Francisco. The very first march was called the Gay Day Parade. It was violent. It was scary. It turned into a riot. It terrified me, and to be honest, I didn't think I hadn't been back to one. I marched with Harvey Milk before he was killed, when we painted the sidewalks and stuff. But then I didn't go back, and wasn't really involved with Pride until I got back with the Maui AIDS Foundation. I went to Pride in Honolulu last year, and in like October of last year. And what was stunning was, back in the day when we had a parade or we were marching, there was violence, and there was very few people cheering us on. But you go to Pride in Honolulu, and there's only 2 or 3 people that are yelling negative things, and thousands of people saying pride, love, pride. And it made my day. It just made it all come together for me.
That's great. I keep looking up here because we still have about 5 minutes. I want to play this song for you. Do you mind?
Not at all.
Now, I think I want to sing this one someday.
Some poor soul is in trouble. Someone's under the gun. Somebody's got to go. Some poor soul is in trouble.
We can't tell if it's on. I will.
Someone's under the gun. Somebody's got to go and help right now. And you've got to be the one. Wandering round in circles, lost in the dark on the run. Someone needs to go and shine some light, and you've got to be the one. Be the one. Be the one. Be the one to help save the day. Be the one. Be that one. The one to help pave the way. One to help share the burden. One to be someone's friend. One to catch somebody falling down. Reach out with a helping hand. Why are we here? Where are we going? What are we trying to get done? Somebody's got to speak out now, and you've got to be the one. Many of us have been lucky somehow to make it through. We work real hard to get where we are, but there's still a lot more to do. So be the one, be the one, be the one who won't back down. Be the one, be that one. One to turn things around. One who's full of forgiveness. One to be brave and bold. One who's willing to tell the truth when the truth needs to be told. People painted into a corner, struggling from day to day. Up in the air, or down on their luck, needing to find their way. Be the one, be the one, be the one to make things turn their back when they know what they see is wrong. Be the one, be the one, be the one.
I
That
like
was
that
nice.
song.
That was really nice. I never even heard that song.
Well, you know, I know that David Frazier plays like in the morning, 8:30 to 10:30 there where I saw you. He's the guy that's sitting there with the keyboard.
Oh, I
And
know which one
someone
you
bought
mean.
his album, and Mary Ann Anderson, who they play over at Unity Church, and she came to me and said, "Jason, would you like to sing with us? I think this song would be good for you." I thought, well, yeah. I think it's a great song, and the fact that when I looked it up and saw MEO had thought it was a great song, so I want to bring that song back because everyone needs to be the one. We have 30 seconds left. Can you imagine that? I am here with Linda Puppolo, Maui AIDS Foundation Director. We are happy to have had you with us. Please come back next week. Blessings. Linda, thank you so very much. We are out of here. That's amazing. Love to you.
Is it off?
Not yet.
Not yet. Be the one.
Bye, you guys. Be the one.